Playoff Bowl was played between the NFL conference runners-up for third place in the league. It was played 10 times following the 1960 through 1969 seasons at the Orange Bowl in Miami. It was originally known as the Runner-Up Bowl, and the games were played in January, the week following the NFL championship game. This game reportedly raised $1 million over the decade of the 60s that was earmarked for the Players' Pension Fund. Number 20, Tommy Mason was the first overall draft pick in the 1961 NFL Draft by the Minnesota Vikings. In 1964, the entire Vikings offensive backfield went to the Pro Bowl. Fran Tarkenton, Bill Brown, and Tommy Mason. Number 18 is Roman Gabriel, of course. And number 34 is running back Les Josephson, who carved out a 10-year NFL career despite being undrafted from Augusta College in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. His only Pro Bowl selection came in 1967 when he rushed for an even 800 yards and added an even 400 yards receiving. He was a 60-minute player in college because the football team only had 23 players on the roster. He went to high school at Minneota, Minnesota. Really, that's the name of the town, Minneota, Minnesota. Population 1,297, where they had an 8-man football team. This guy is a great success story. The Rams' defensive line was nicknamed the Fearsome Foursome. 3 of the linemen went to the Pro Bowl in 1967. Number 75, Deacon Jones, with 21.5 sacks. Number 74, Merlin Olsen, with 3.5 sacks and an impenetrable force against any rushing attack. Number 78, Roger Brown, with 7 sacks. Only Lamar Lundy, number 85, didn't make the Pro Bowl, yet he had 7.5 sacks. Collectively, they made 29 Pro Bowl teams and 12 All-Pro teams. Roman Gabriel had an excellent year in 1967 as he made the Pro Bowl on the basis of 25 touchdown passes, only 13 interceptions, and 2,779 passing yards. He also chipped in with 6 rushing touchdowns. Guess what? Number 25, Bernie Casey, was also a Pro Bowl player in 1967 with 53 catches for 871 yards and 8 touchdowns. Number 22 is Dick Bass. At his retirement, he was 8th all-time in rushing yards with 5,417. He had 2 1,000-yard rushing seasons when they were extremely rare, and he was a 3-time Pro Bowler and 2-time second-team All-Pro. In 1967, Leroy Kelly led the NFL in rushing attempts, rushing yardage, and rushing touchdowns. To prove it wasn't a fluke, he replicated this feat in 1968. He also led the NFL both years in yards from scrimmage. Back in the day, teams didn't necessarily have a player who only punted. Here, wide receiver Gary Collins punted, as he did 57 times during the regular season. Superstar running back Leroy Kelly punted 10 times in 1967. Here's a replay of the previous play. Jack Snow only caught 28 passes in 1967, but he came up big with 735 receiving yards, 8 touchdowns, and an incredible 26.3 yards per catch. With the 17-0 Rams lead, it looks like a field goal attempt. But wait, the holder, Ed Meter, just misses connecting with Dave Pivik. Meter was a Pro Bowler in 1967 with 8 interceptions and 2 that were returned for touchdowns. Flying in late on this play is number 55, linebacker Maxie Baughan, the 8th Rams Pro Bowl player that I've mentioned for 1967. Hall of Famer Louis the Toe Groza was 43 years old, and this 45-yard field goal attempt was too much for him to handle. This was the last game of his NFL career. In the second half of the game, the Browns went back to their bread and butter player, Leroy Kelly, but run stuffer supreme Merlin Olsen jolted him and caused a fumble, and the Rams recovered. Number 84, Paul Wiggin, made this tackle, and he was a Pro Bowl player in 1967, the last year of his 11-year NFL career. He ended up being the Kansas City Chiefs head coach for 35 games from 1975 through parts of 1977. He had 11 wins and 24 losses. Number 15, Gary Lane replaced Frank Ryan at quarterback. And their results went from bad to worse. On the replay, we can see Maxie Baughan introducing Lane to the turf. Down by 20 points, the Browns took advantage of the big defensive cushion provided by the Rams. How did number 32 linebacker Jack Pardee not make the Pro Bowl in 1967? He had 6 interceptions, good for 95 return yards and 2 touchdowns. Lane dropped back 11 yards on this play to elude the Rams' pass rush, and he hit number 41, tight end Ralph Catfish Smith. Throws a miss badly earlier from 44 yards out, so why not try from 48? No. Future Hall of Famers Paul Warfield and Leroy Kelly would not give up. Perhaps the winner's share of $1,200 versus the loser's share of $500 was simply too enticing. There's no doubt about it. The Browns are definitely approaching the 10-yard line. Those are some huge numbers. I've never seen that before. Lane's perfect strike was dropped by Catfish. The Browns tried an onside kick, but it failed and left the Rams with excellent field position. Gabriel hit Tommy Mason. Play went for 43 big yards. Number 33, rookie Willie Ellison, ran for a touchdown here. And on December 5th, 1971, he would rush for an NFL single-game record 247 yards. Quarterback Bill Munson entered the game in mop-up duty. Is fired on this pass. And Bruce Gossett banged in a 19-yard field goal to end the game scoring. I wonder how many fans got bruised trying to get that ball. Jeez.